Hello, all you beautiful people. I am Alex with Cactus and Lace Weddings, and today I am absolutely thrilled. And maybe in the outtakes you can see that we're a little bit petrified as well, but mostly we're thrilled. We're really excited because today is the first ever roundtable discussion. Yay! So I think a good way to start would be for us to just go around the table and kind of introduce ourselves. So, Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I've been with Cactus and Lace for about 5 years now as a wedding planner and photographer. Started out as an assistant and worked my way to the middle.
And I'm Lory, and I'm one of the co-owners of Cactus and Lace, and I've been here from the beginning. And I plan weddings and photograph and do all the back-end office work a lot, and just general schlepping and running around and being crazy and enjoying my job.
There's a lot to it. Okay, and as I said, I am Alex, and I do a lot of behind-the-scenes kind of work after the wedding. I like to pack up all the albums and gift boxes and send those off to brides. I also manage the YouTube channel, and I also do sewing. So if you have custom placemats or napkins or a wedding arch drape, it's probably me. That was probably me. You're welcome. Okay.
And I'm Rachel, also one of the co-owners with Lory, and photography and planning and other back-end furniture, lifting, etc., etc.
And I'm Tori. I assist Cactus and Lace Weddings. So whatever they need, I show up the day of the weddings, and whatever they need, I do it. They put me to work, and I'll, move furniture, set up, serve the guests, drinks and cake and all that fun
All
stuff.
by herself.
No,
Yeah, she does everything by
I'm not.
herself.
It's a
One-woman
team.
show.
No, team effort.
Okay, well, I figured since this is a new channel, new month, new year, new decade, that a good theme for today's discussion would be beginnings.
Okay.
Okay, but I think before we begin, let's give a quick shout out to today's wonderful sponsor, Rachel.
So today we're being sponsored by the Front Porch Flowers, and they've made this lovely arrangement for us. And they do all of our weddings with us, and they have since the very beginning. And so we've been working them for 6 years, and we work really closely with them. Our studio is actually right next to their shop, so we do a lot with them, and they're integral to what we do.
No dead air, you guys. If you feel free to pitch in something, by all means, do. So, I mean, I really like this little guy. This is pretty cute. He's a little vintage truck.
Well, that's why I thought that it matched, your whole vintage vibe. You're always vintagey, and I was
Like
like,
my scarf.
it
It
goes.
matches my scarf.
It'll-
Yeah,
it'll-
they're
yeah.
fun.
I love these little
Yeah.
berry looking
The
things.
little
I'm not
teal
sure what they
stuff.
are.
You can
but
tell the
they're
planning
pretty.
mind kicks in as you start going, and
We
yeah,
stylize.
color. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so I keep pulling out my notes here. I got to just keep this open, I swear. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about how we all how Cactus and Lace Weddings began. And I think the best people to talk about the beginnings would be Lory.
Oh gosh.
How did we all start with this? Because, I mean, I think to us it's more than just a company.
Yeah, when we originally started, we had no idea that it would grow into the company that it did. We were originally just trying to find a way to create a little extra income, and we live in a small town, and so we were trying to find out what we could do. And
Did you always shoot weddings? Like before this? Did you, like for friends, would they be like, Lory, come and shoot my wedding?
here in this small town, we kind of did a mix of everything. So you were doing families and weddings and soccer and just whatever you came across. And so originally Ray, who is one of the co-founders as well, she and I were going to go into a different line of photography, and we ended up saying, let's think about weddings. Mainly, what happened was I had been asked to do just a tiny little wedding out at Valley of Fire. I'd never been there to do a wedding before, and while I was there, I just saw all kinds of opportunity for us because we're only 10 minutes away where we live, and so it's like this beautiful, amazing area that's just a hidden gem. Most people are not aware of Valley of Fire, and
Well, because Vegas is right next
Yeah,
door, and
we
there's
have-
so much to do in Vegas.
we have a lot right next door to Vegas, and it's a quick drive out. So anyway, that's where we started. We started thinking about how we could do weddings. We noticed the styles of weddings that were being done. We wanted to enlarge on that. We wanted people to actually be able to stay for some period of time, and we wanted it to look like just a regular wedding, just downsized slightly, so that they could have all the beautiful flowers and all the decorations and just everything that, you know, is gorgeous at a wedding, only just a smaller version, and bringing their favorite friends and family and all that. So that's how we started, and got all the licensing and all that kind of stuff, and it just started snowballing from there. Our first year we only did, I believe, 8 weddings or something like that.
Yeah.
What did they look like? What did, like, the first wedding that Cactus and Lace ever put together, what did that look like?
I actually think they look really similar.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
They
so
look
too.
very, very similar. They were, I think, great from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a smaller quantity, not as many. In fact, I think we started with 11, and then the next year we did less.
Yeah, it was like 10.
It was 10.
Yeah, it went
and
down.
Then it went down, and then the third year we did more.
Yeah.
So it was
doubled.
It was
like
doubled.
20
It's up to
something.
It was up
24,
to-
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time we were like, oh my gosh, we did
Well,
20 weddings.
because we worked harder in the beginning,
And
not
we
smarter because we
did.
hadn't worked
We
out
didn't
how
have
to make
money.
it work.
We were broke. So when you're broke,
Let's be honest.
do things that you normally wouldn't do because
Yep.
we're just a little company, and
You
at
gotta
the
get
time
creative.
Yeah,
there was
and we did.
only
We
3
did.
of us. So
Yeah.
we basically worked like donkeys in the desert. And we did
Yeah.
a lot of things that we don't do anymore, but I have to say, like, the quality hasn't changed. It's just a lot less backbreaking when you're
Yeah.
able to add another person.
It's a little
like
more streamlined.
Tori.
Yeah,
Right.
we have a system. We know what to
Yep.
do. And before we had to like reinvent the wheel every
We
single
really
time.
did
We're like,
every time.
how do we get coffee out here?
Yeah.
How are we gonna do this big arch like in pieces? How is it
Yeah.
gonna work? So it was very like trying to figure it out every time.
And the locations, so we have 5 different locations, so finding out what location really works for certain groups and group sizes, and the decor that you have also was like a big thing. And so some locations we really learned to love more than others.
Some are just harder than others.
Yeah. But photograph, they're all so beautiful.
They are
So it was
beautiful.
hard to like let any of them go because we were like, oh, but that one has like the best vista, even though it has the most sand.
Yeah, a lot of sand.
Yeah,
Yes.
lots of sand.
The
Yeah.
view,
Yeah.
Rainbow Vista
Yeah.
is amazing, but I
It
can't.
is.
Gorgeous.
I'm taking home half the desert with me
Yeah.
if I go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to leave it behind. We dump our shoes.
It still comes.
But it today I put on a pair of shoes to come do this, and it was like sand. It was straight up sand in every
All
pair
my
of shoes. And
shoes.
I try not to wear my good shoes out there.
Yeah, I learned that too.
The number one thing that's been like the hardest thing for like a learning curve was like what to wear and what to wear. It's like always what to
What
wear.
not to wear.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Because-
really hot sometimes, and it's really cold sometimes, and it's really windy. Your elements. We work with the elements so much that
Seems like you're working against the elements
all
so
the
often.
time.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
don't anymore. We've learned to really work with the elements so
Yeah.
many times that
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
the
so
thing.
scary.
It's no
Before it
longer
was
like
planned.
fighting
Prepared.
it.
We're
It's like
prepared.
working with
Yeah.
it instead.
Yeah.
We've really learned to work with it, and it produces images that most other photographers could never really produce or find because of
Yeah.
the elements.
I think you have to be willing to do a lot of learning and growth as a new company starts out, and making those kind of mistakes. And I think one of the things I like about our company is we don't have a culture of being afraid of making mistakes. We feel like as we grow, we're gonna make mistakes because we are learning, we are going forward, and so we want to be okay and forgive ourselves and just move on. If we learn something and it doesn't work out, we try something, it doesn't work, we
And I
move
think
forward.
we all have
so.
a story of
Oh gosh.
something that didn't work, or
Yeah.
something that we did, like
And
a
we're like,
mistake
yeah.
that we made, like dropping a 50-pound base and
Oh, yeah.
cracking it
That was good.
in half, and then
Wait, like an instrument base?
No,
No.
like a 50-pound base that we
For the
use for the arch,
Mhm.
and I set it down what I thought was in the sand, but there must have been like a rock underneath, and it just
perfectly
She didn't
split
set it down. She just dropped it.
I
and
didn't
then-
drop it. I dropped it like I had one
You know.
end. It's like huge.
Right.
So I dropped the one end down and was still holding onto it, and it just split in two.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
went
like a piece of concrete. It's like
It
a
was huge,
massive.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
It's an honest
I just
mistake.
broke
Honest
like
mistake.
a 50-pound base. And it was after the wedding.
Oh, I was
but
gonna say, what did we do
yeah,
during the
no,
wedding? But it was
after. And I
so.
remember the day, I remember the location, I remember the wedding. Because you never forget when you make a mistake in somebody else's company, you know.
Yeah,
And
I have a number of different mistakes I've made, and they've all been so forgiving of my mistakes and just roll with it, and they know just what to do, and okay, we're gonna do this instead, you know, like it all works out,
Oh,
you know.
tell the cupcakes.
Like,
Oh, the
yeah.
cupcake store, you guys, it's horrible. Oh my gosh.
I feel the same.
I think this was like my third wedding. And it was a new location, Rainbow Vista. You know, you have to go down this hill and you're in the sand and the rock and all that. I grabbed the ice chest thinking, okay, there's ice in it. Let me just wheel it down. Wheel it, clunk, 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 all the way down to where our location's at with the, you know, the tables and all that. Later, you know, just before setup, we, you know, our guests arrive. We're bringing out the desserts. And where's the desserts? Oh, they're in the ice chest. And we open it up, and there's the cupcakes, and the topping is all smashed, and some of them enrolled, and I was like, oh my gosh. I seriously was like crying, not crying, but tearing up, and I was like, Lory, what do we do? I'm so sorry.
And then I was
your
like,
desserts.
thank you, Tori, because now we
She was so happy to be
Because
there.
in the midst of
Okay, but you know what? It all worked out.
It
It was
really
fun.
did.
We had
There was
extra
extra. They
cupcakes.
came prepared. There
And
was
you
extra.
only ruined the
and
top layer.
yes,
The bottom ones were
Yes,
fine.
there was plenty. And you know what? The guests didn't even eat all the cupcakes, so we didn't have to put out more. It all worked out. But I definitely learned from that. I always open the ice chest and check. Make sure. Very careful with the desserts. But it all worked out.
I never mind when they get messed up.
Yeah.
They still taste really, really good.
Samples.
Yeah.
Oh, the cupcakes.
We like teasing Tori about the
Yeah.
cupcake story a lot.
Oh,
I like to
I
tease her
believe
and be
that.
like, and just make that noise at her all the time. And she's like, what did I do?
It's
So fun.
And Rachel is known for gasping. She loves
Oh,
to
yeah.
gasp about like something that
Smaller things that don't require a gasp, but make
But
everybody else
everybody
around
turns
her
around
like,
and,
what?
like,
What?
it's the wind took like a feather off of her decor
And I'm like,
piece.
oh!
And she's like, oh, and I'm like, and then it's just
It's like a
broke.
domino effect. What?
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't worry, my feather fell off the table. But if something really bad happens, then I'm like, okay. That's
What's going on?
she's fixing our table.
You guys are just getting too
I
wild
must
and
have
crazy and
yeah.
animated in your
We're
storytelling.
Okay.
trying not to
Sorry,
touch the table.
sorry.
You're
We'll
wibbly
try and
wobbling
calm
the
down. You wanted reality. This is it. So
This is
This
us.
is us.
Yeah.
We do fix a lot of wobbly tables.
A lot of
Yeah,
wobbly
a lot of
tables.
wobbly.
Especially in the desert where it's
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
it's uneven.
A lot of shims. A lot of sticky dots.
Sticky
Oh my
dot
gosh,
hair.
don't even get me started on the gosh dang sticky dots. Okay, I didn't even tell you guys this, but the last time you had me sew a big, like, drape for an arch, you'd used it before, and you had fixed it with sticky dots. They got stuck in my machine.
Oh no!
I'm sitting there trying to make a little hem, and suddenly the machine goes like
Oh,
this, and I'm like, "What is it?"
no.
I'm like, "It's a sticky dot, all covered in red sand in my
Oh.
machine."
No.
So I spent like the next hour just like picking it out and like
Oh,
using
no.
alcohol to
Oh,
clean it out.
we are
It's
so
the worst.
sorry.
It's okay because I know that sticky dots just kind of appear in places.
do.
I mean, they're really handy to use for like affixing decor to the table, like on a windy day or something. They're brilliant to use, but they also have a way of traveling. I don't know how.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
so
and
dang
we
strong,
take
but they-
down, and the sun's coming down. We're taking
can't
down, and we're
see.
hustling, and we
Can't
can't
see
see
them.
where the dots are at. It's,
Yeah.
it's cold. They're stuck. I
Yeah,
mean,
when they're warm, they're nice and pliable, and they work so good. And we're like, oh yeah, putting them everywhere. But then when it gets cold at night, because in the
Then they're,
desert
like,
it's really hot in the day, and then it
cement.
cools so much at night. I don't think a lot of people realize that
Yep.
that they get really hard, and then we're like, man, just come off. Just,
I
we'll
find
take
them
care
in
of
my
it later.
camera
Then we
bag.
forget.
I find them in my clothes.
Yes.
And my shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There were actually two on each of these chairs that
Yeah, we had
when
to
we
take
went
them
to
off.
set up,
Yeah.
we found
I know I
sticky
can
dots.
film. I'm like,
I
yep,
can
there's
totally
really
have
You
hot
found
sticky
that?
dots.
right
Wait,
there.
pull it off, and show
Oh,
them
it's
where
just some of the
just little-
stick.
Yeah.
It's mostly
okay.
gone.
It's all good.
Okay, so
Wash it
when
off later.
you joined up with Cactus and Lace, was it Ray and Lory just sort of like, Rachel, we need number 3.
No, we had met up for something else, and I don't even remember what it was. I think we're doing like a community like photography group or something.
Something.
And I was sort of new to the Valley because I grew up in Vegas, so I'd only been here like, I don't know. Well, I guess I wasn't that new. Maybe 4 or 5 years, but that's new to this town. We'd met about something else, and at the end of that meetup, you guys started. Oh, I remember because Ray said, "Oh, I have the name," and I was like, "The name for what?" She's like, "Oh, me and Lory are starting this other like wedding thing at Valley of Fire," and she said the name's Cactus and Lace, and I was like, "I love this name. What is it?" So then I made them tell me the story, and I was like, I went in on this. If you guys need help, if you guys need another photographer, if you just need like help moving stuff, and this is before like anything had happened, you guys, it was all just talk. So I was like, oh, I want to play. And then you told me later that after I left that meeting, because you guys stayed and talked some more about Cactus and Lace, you guys were like, oh, Rachel has to be in on this. So then it turned into a group of 3, and
that's when it really began.
Yeah.
It was the 3 of them.
And I was so excited. I was like, let's do this. And you guys were like, uh-huh. You guys are very cautious. And I'm very like, both feet in the water. Let's go. So,
working with Lory and Rachel.
No, it's wonderful. It's yin to yang.
That's
really
exactly what I was going to
true.
say. It's been a really good experience to have both sides to it, because you have the surety feeling of like, yes, this is for sure going to work this way because it's worked that way, and then the other part is like, let's try a new way. So
They complement each
they
other really well.
really, it could not be. It's like Cactus and Lace, literally. Like, you know.
Wait, which one is
the cactus?
Okay, I'm gonna say this is the cactus. Totally cactus. And this is the lace, definitely. You know.
prickly, a little bit scary,
A
little intense, very soft.
They're perfect.
Yes.
Perfect together.
Very safe.
Yes, exactly.
But what's
Very
happening, I think, though, is that we are helping each other grow this different part, because I am becoming more adventurous than I would, and hopefully you're gaining something
yes.
from me. And
I
so
learned some not to be so out there.
just dial it back a
Calm
tiny
it
bit.
down.
yeah, but we love that, and I think that's what attracts our brides, is because we are vibrant, we're living, we're growing, we're a company that really is on the edge of everything. We try and be up to speed on every little thing, and so we see all the trends coming, you know, months before, and we start incorporating those into our planning, and Rachel's really good at that. All these guys are just really on top of stuff, and so that's been really beneficial, I think, to making sure that our brides get exactly what they want.
And it's really nice to keep some classic pieces, though, so that it's timeless. You're not going to look back and see a lot of things that
trendy.
are trendy.
We will bring in trends just a little bit, but we're also keeping that elegance and the classicness, even with boho, and even with crazy things that are going on right now. We always keep an undercurrent of timeless. We want you to look back at your wedding 20 years from now and say, "Oh, wasn't that gorgeous?" Still, in context. So that's kind of what we.
It's not like
we
one of
try
those,
for.
80s wedding albums. You're like, oh, the hair,
The
oh,
hair,
the dress,
the
Yeah,
sleeves.
the-
oh, the balloons,
Yeah.
oh, the
everything.
macrame.
The
From
colors.
Yes, from a photography standpoint, I think one of my favorite things, and probably our brides weren't even born yet, but there was this one popular image that was floating around all the weddings, and there was a champagne, actually a goblet, and the couple's images were superimposed into the glass. It is like the worst image now that I ever think of, but
It's
at the
corny.
time it was corny, and it wasn't corny at the time. I mean, everybody was doing
Everybody
it, but
did
we avoid that kind of stuff. We don't want that kind of stuff, so that's kind of what we run from.
Well, I got to ask, just a little quick segue. What is trendy right now as far as weddings?
This is
A
fun.
lot of stuff.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
like my little vintage heart is kind of hoping, praying that Art Deco's coming back.
Oh, we had an Art Deco wedding.
3 years ago, Rachel.
That's true.
Yeah, see, that's
It's definitely not coming back. Boho is really, really
Yeah.
in right now. It's super
Still?
in. It really is, but it's changed a little bit.
It's
Yeah. The feel of it
it
has
morphs.
changed.
Feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this past 2019, Pampas Grass was all the rage. Like
Yeah.
every wedding wanted pieces of it, if not an entire arch made of it. But I see dried
beginnings.
palm leaves.
Yeah, that's
really,
making a
really
big.
coming in right now. We had one
Combined with the
with
Yeah,
the
some
pampas.
pampas.
So pampas is still in, but it's getting a run for its money
Yeah.
from dried palm leaves, and not even dried, just palm leaves in general. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you look at our December
And it's interesting
wedding.
that, because obviously we're not like a tropical
Yeah,
place here,
quite
but
at all.
but it does, work in that sense,
Yeah.
and the dried makes sense. It
Mhm.
flows
Yeah.
well. And macrame was huge for
It was
a while.
huge,
It's
like in
kind
2017, 2018. It still makes an appearance once in a while, but
Yeah.
So the things that are totally gone are burlap. We haven't seen burlappy.
Thank
and
goodness.
Yeah.
I never
country-ish
liked that
stuff.
one.
That's gone.
We still do burlap and lace and mason jars and chalkboard.
No, we
Not
don't.
really. No.
It's gone.
no,
It's
not
gone.
really.
But anyway, those are just the fun things, and the wedding industry is always coming up with new things, and we love to be involved with that and see what's up and coming.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Keeps our job young. And
Favorite
fun.
trends? What's your like? Even if it's out, what was your favorite?
Favorite trends.
Like I gotta say that mine is incorporating weddings past somehow. Like I like it when they bring in, grandma's veil or
heirloom stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love when
That's
they do
not
that.
necessarily a trend. I mean, that happens a lot.
I know it's more like a tradition. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
a beautiful
That's very
tradition. I
sweet.
like
We
that
love
too.
that.
So
We
that
love
is
that.
my favorite. So I mean, by all
Yeah.
means, brides, keep bringing your
I-
mom and grandma's stuff. I love
Yeah.
it.
I
That's
love
very sweet.
personalized wedding vows.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
That is something that I really like that people are doing more often of, and I also like live musicians out in the desert. It
Oh,
just
yes.
carries
Yeah.
beautiful.
It does add so much.
So it adds a lot of personalization to the wedding. So those are like some of the things that I really like. Yeah.
I like the table decor. I think for me, I like it because it keeps things new all the time. You're always getting different looks. For example, this runners come in
It's
different
like
fabrics
gauze.
and
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's like a
It's
cheese
textured.
garment. Yeah.
yeah.
So this one was actually made by an Etsy shop. We'll have-
Handmade?
Yeah. And it's hand
Wow.
dyed actually.
Oh my goodness.
So I use this for Michaela and Tegan's wedding.
Yeah.
Hey, Michaela and Tegan.
Hey.
This was part of their decor. So this one is
It's pretty.
yeah.
I like it
Custom made. We'll have to link the
for sure.
Etsy
You know what I
link.
love is the florals I've noticed have changed. Like they're adding like little cactuses or succulents or air plants, and
It's
it's
not
so
like traditional
pretty.
Yes.
flowers
Yeah.
anymore. Like they're putting
The bouquets.
Yeah,
different.
I like
so
it when it
gorgeous.
just has not even necessarily flowers, or even it's like dead dried plants, or like
Yeah.
crazy
Different.
cotton.
I was thinking Amanda and Patrick.
Amanda's,
Do you remember
yes.
Oh,
Amanda
yeah.
and Patrick's?
And
We
hers
had-
was just like sticks.
Yeah, hers were
Feathers.
just
Feathers
sticks and things
and
that she had
sticks.
gathered for
Yeah,
years.
and she gathered
She
a lot
did
of
them
that,
herself.
and then the flower shop added a few things and put it together really nice.
It
and
was
when she
gorgeous.
saw that,
She
she
was
was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this was
much
more than I expected."
wonderful.
Because she was expecting just her stuff, but
Yeah.
the front porch did such a
Yeah.
great job at
Amazing.
really
Incorporating all
giving
that.
it a little bit of life since it was mostly
Yeah.
dried
Yeah.
things. It's amazing.
But that's where we love to work with. We are a custom boutique company, so we don't do cookie cutter weddings at all. Every bride and groom get the opportunity to bring in their loves and what they like. And for example, what we were talking about the feathers. And I mean, this is important to the couples to bring in things that are really part of their lives. I think we had one bride who was a horticulturist, and she grew plants for a living, and so we were a little intimidated.
Yeah.
But
And she loved those
she loved
desert
it.
trumpets.
Yeah, we had all kinds of things that I'd never seen before. There were fiddle heads and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
just cotton ball
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
and
It was
all
really
things.
unique.
I
Like the cotton
it was
one.
unique, and she really liked that, and so we liked it because it brought in her loves and her interests, and and the grooms. We've had grooms that they want, custom cookies with their images on them, or they
Yeah,
wanted
super
chocolate
fun.
chip because that was his favorite, or, I have a groom coming up and he wants extra frosting on the cupcakes. I mean, he lives for frosting on the cupcakes. So you can
Such a
imagine.
little boy.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a frosty.
chocolate cupcake with lots of frosting. So we are doing lots of frosting with our
Awesome.
cupcakes.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
I like hearing those little things about them and being able to bring it in so that when they show up, they're like,
You listened.
yeah,
You heard.
and they're,
Yeah.
you know, they didn't
You remember.
necessarily know that was going to happen,
Yeah.
but like a surprise.
Yep.
And then that
Like the
makes me so
time you
happy.
surprised them with a pony.
Yeah.
Summer, the mini horse.
So just
Wait. How did you surprise them with a pony?
Okay. So this couple had pinned on their Pinterest board, because we do a Pinterest board with the couple. So they'd pinned a picture of a donkey at a wedding with
With a
like a
hat,
flower
yeah.
wreath. And they pinned it twice. So I was like, okay,
We
this
gotta
girl
have a pony.
loves a donkey. So I was like, I couldn't find a donkey.
We looked everywhere. Rachel
Very
one
hard.
time was like, we're at a wedding, another wedding setting up, and she was like, anyone know where I can find a donkey? And I was thinking, not for a wedding. I was like, oh, let me think about it. Let me look for a donkey. And then she said it was for a wedding, and I'm like, I'm not looking for a donkey for a wedding.
Yeah, they were not on board. They
We
were like,
not on board with the donkey,
no.
okay? Donkeys make noise, like obnoxious noises.
Donkeys are cute.
They're adorable.
They
so
are
cute.
I kept thinking somebody's gonna get kicked by the donkey. This
okay,
is my
okay, but I couldn't
thinking,
find a donkey. So,
That was a good thing, actually.
okay. Well, Summer the mini horse was very quiet. She did a great job.
She was
So,
beautiful.
yeah,
she was
someone-
beautiful.
very
Was she the flower
calm.
pony? What'd she do? Was
Yeah,
she
so
just
she
hanging
was
out?
just
very
there.
sweet.
So it was Equus Ranch, and they're here local.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she, so she just brought out Summer, the pony, and we put a little wreath on her, and she just hung out in the corner during the ceremony. So the bride didn't even really notice her when she went down. She had her ceremony. They didn't really see, because she comes directly from her vehicle. So after the ceremony's over, they come back down the aisle, and then Sam is the bride's name, and she's like, what? And she starts walking
runs
over
over
to
to
them.
that pony.
And she's
oh my
looking
gosh.
at her groom. She's, Brian, how did you? There's a horse, and she's so happy,
Oh my
and it just
gosh.
made me so happy to
Yeah.
see her face.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't know. And I was like, yay!
That was great. It was super cute.
So during the consult,
Oh,
sorry.
don't get
During the consults, we talk to our clients, and they'll just inadvertently say things, and that's when we're picking up. What are you saying? What are you just
Trying
talking
to tell
about
us.
that you really are interested in? And those are the things that we quietly, without telling them, will try and bring in so that it really personalizes it. Just like Rachel's example of Summer the Little Pony. The bride is still talking about it. We got Christmas cards with the bride and the little. I mean, it just makes such an impact to them, and it's so important. So I thought that was a stroke. Did I want the pony? No, but
She was
it
great.
It was great. It was great.
Llamas
It was
are next,
great.
people.
Yeah.
Llamas.
Llama. I'm on board for llamas.
Okay, good.
I
They're
love
so
llamas.
cute.
They're
Bring
so
on the
cute.
llamas.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Anybody want a llama?
Anybody have a llama available?
Yeah, we need to borrow a llama, or we need to start keeping
we can just-
livestock.
Oh,
Okay.
Or just make
There
a
you
list
go.
of animals that
We could
Equus
have
needs
our
to
own.
get. Just-
Yeah.
Oh, we
An
should just have
alpaca.
An
an
alpaca.
alpaca.
I have a relative with llamas.
You do?
You do?
Oh,
See, there you
They're
go.
available.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's on.
Tori always has
It's on.
everything. Every time we get something new, she's like, "Oh, I have that." I was like, "Well, why did you tell us?" She make a list of all the things you have. We
Just
could borrow.
random things.
Yeah.
I just put it out on Instagram. Anybody see a blue chair, this shade of blue?
Yeah, that's true. You do
St.
do
George.
that.
I'm like, I don't. Yeah. Didn't go there.
Okay, so Amanda, how did you get roped into all this?
With cake.
With cake.
With cake?
We
cake.
lured her with cake.
Yeah.
It is kind of true. So I think they had done a wedding or two before I jumped on board as an assistant.
yeah, we had.
Yeah, because we
We
had
had.
Ray with us.
Yeah.
And then after Ray dropped out because she was just so overwhelmingly busy, and then it just became me and Lory, we were like, ooh, this needs to be a three-man team.
Well, it
Yeah.
didn't it start with the shootout
Oh
thing?
yeah, we had
Yeah.
a shootout and we just needed more help that time, so we asked.
So then I started with that. It was at WPPI, and they
Explain
put on
what that is,
a
kind of.
great. WPPI is like a photographer's workshop. So
Convention.
it's like a
Convention
convention,
in
and
Vegas.
all these workshops that you can go to, and they decided to host one out at Valley of Fire. So
Because we're
that,
crazy like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That
It
first
was
year
crazy.
was
Yeah, it was. So they had different stations at different locations, and all these photographers from all over the world came and signed up for this workshop, and they were like, "Can you do some crowd control?" 5 foot? Yeah, I can do some crowd control.
It's okay, just get up in their face
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah,
hey, do it. Yeah,
exactly.
come on, we're taking pictures.
And
But this is back to being poor. We had no money. We're
We
like,
had
look,
no
we
money.
can't pay you, but
We
there
can't
will
pay
be
you to help
cake.
us.
That's what they said. We can't pay you, but there'll be cake. So then I looked up and I was like, Cactus and Lace. There was like really nothing.
I was like,
So, but they said cake. So I was like, well, I like wedding cake like enough that I'll do it. So it was like a long, long day, but it was amazing. It was like watching magicians pull out a rabbit out of a hat. It's like really, really cool, only I got to be the assistant and I got to see how they made that rabbit appear from that hat. And so then I was like, sold. Sold. Only they were like still in the process of like trying to get started. So I think they had done a wedding or two by that point, and then they said, you know, would you like to assist in more weddings, moving furniture?
Yeah, I think me and Lory did one wedding. Just me and Lory.
Yeah.
We were like,
and they were like,
no,
no,
it was
not
nuts.
doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So then I was on for the second wedding, and then never left. So I was there from after conception. If that's a thing. And it was a lot of work. In fact, weddings back then, when I think about, used to take 3 days to recover from.
Yeah.
And I think now, like, if you were to ask Tori or Kayla, who's coming on, like, 3 days, it's a little excessive because it doesn't feel like that anymore. Maybe the next morning you might be a little bit sore, but it was literally the next day you were down and out.
I remember standing up once and then my legs gave out.
They're just like, nope.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
nope, can't function. Just kidding, back in bed.
Yeah, it was like a serious, at that time I was lifting,
serious.
I was like lifting
Yeah.
weights.
It was heavy duty.
And it was comparable to heavy weightlifting training. It was
In
sandy,
the desert.
in the desert,
With
and
on level footing.
it was, that's exactly, so
Heavy
everything was
stuff.
like 3 times heavier.
And we did everything ourselves.
Everything ourselves. There was no delivery. There was no nothing. We
No
unloaded
rentals. We didn't use
hundreds of
rentals.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it
didn't
was-
know how to work smarter, so we
No,
worked
so we
harder.
worked harder. And that's how I got started. So it's been about 5 years. I'm coming up on 5 years in just a couple months, actually, since I started and never stopped. And it's been a wonderful ride. It's been amazing. And I just started as an assistant. Yep, we went like this lots. I started out as an assistant for about 2 years before they were like, I ran into her. I didn't really actually know them at all. This is a really small town, so we keep talking about our little town. It's really little. Most people think we live in Vegas because our company is...
I tell people I live in Vegas.
Yeah, so that they know where, but
It's
we
an offshoot.
actually don't. We live just 60 miles north of Las Vegas in a small community called Malapa Valley. It's actually made up of 3 other communities, Logandale,
Villages?
Overton. Yeah, and all together I think there's about 10 to 12,000 people.
With all those.
And no like Walmart or Target or anything, no hospital. It's like 1 grocery store.
3
And a
places
McDonald's.
to eat.
And a
Yeah,
McDonald's.
and a McDonald's.
We do have a
That was big when
3
that
places
came.
to eat.
Yeah.
And so then from there, after 2 years, Rachel and Lory, I ran into her at the school picking up our kids, and you were like, hey, so we were talking, how would you like to do some back end work? And I was like, I'd always told myself, like never out loud, I love assisting more than anything, that I would wake up every day, like
Every
they
wedding
were
day.
like a little stressed, but I was never stressed
Just a
because
little bit stressed.
because it was the beginning and it was new, and I was always like, "Yay, it's
You show
wedding
up. You
day!"
show
So
up,
I
you
was
go to
like,
work.
"Wedding day, it's wedding day,"
Yes.
and they're like, "It's wedding day, it's wedding day." And so
Lots of
I always
stress.
said, "Oh gosh, I never want to get to that point. I just want to have no responsibility. I want to eat cake. Like I just want to like have fun." And so this was the whole thing. It was a weekend gig thing because most weddings are on weekends. So I loved it. And then when she's like, "Do you want to do more?" I was like, I always said I wouldn't do work because I didn't want it ever to feel like work. So I said, gosh, let me think about it. But I was so excited and I love working with them. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna totally do it. So then I started doing that, and then a year passed, and they're like, I'm like, okay, well, I'll assist and I'll do back end work, but I will never plan a wedding and I'll never photograph. Because that would just, no, that's not fun.
It's too much work.
Fast forward a year later, and they're like, hey, how would you like to second shoot? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I said I would never second shoot. 2 seconds later, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna second shoot. Yeah, whatever you can do. So a year later, I started second shooting. And then a year after that, they're like, hey, what do you think about planning? elopements and shooting, and I was like, oh, I always said I would. And it's just like this cycle of like,
we just gave her a little bit, and we're like, oh, just a little bit, and then she's carrying everything. She's like, I got this. That,
it was like, I feel like it happened in such a good way. There is no better training, I feel like, available than starting literally from the bottom. It just gives you a sense of every dynamic part of the wedding, and every part is important. Just even assisting at a wedding, it was always really important to me to take care of Lory and Rachel, because those days are really, really long, and that was like one of my things, is to make sure that they were able to do their job, that they weren't literally passing out from dehydration.
Yeah,
more water.
Or things
We
like that.
forget it. The day starts
They're just
running,
going
and
going and going.
so it's so nice to have somebody remind us
Drink your water.
Drink up,
Yeah.
drink up.
just to drink and eat something, because we forget and we're just rolling.
Yeah,
That day
and
runs,
I was constantly
and
there
so-
to remind them, like, take a breath.
Drink some water.
Drink some water and put on your good big girl panties. Like, you can totally do this. Any self-doubt, I was like, oh, you guys are amazing, you got this. It was like, it's still really good.
She still does that, and then she trained Tori to do that, and now
Yeah.
Tori's like, did you drink your water?
Yes.
Let me bring you your
Yeah.
power bar.
You trained me well.
And soon it became, we went again from 11 weddings to 10 weddings, then up to 20 weddings, and then up to 40 like it just was starting to really double, and it was like I said, 3 days of hard recovering, and we
And we
really,
couldn't do that.
No.
Like, it wasn't possible
Yeah.
to work like that.
We were gonna
and
kill
keep,
ourselves.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
had to work
Get
smarter.
smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did. Each year I feel like we
Yeah.
would have a post meeting and be like, okay, here's what we did right. Here's what we
Yeah.
can do better. Here's how we can improve.
I love
and
that.
we keep
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then one year they were like, look for an assistant. I actually was like, I was the one who was like, I'm gonna look for an assistant, and they let me.
She just decided.
Yeah, I just decided, and they totally let me. I didn't think they actually would. Actually, that was the same year they gave me a raise. They were like, you get a raise and an assistant, and then I had arrived.
Yeah, we gave her 2 cakes instead of
Yes,
one.
it was and then cakes started becoming more elaborate and like a big. It was a good year. It was a really good year. The year we added Tori, the year we added more
2 years
cake,
ago.
Yeah.
and it was,
Okay, so how did Amanda approach you about joining this craziness that is Cactus and Lace Weddings?
Yeah. Well,
Did she bribe you with cake?
No, I gave it to her straight.
yeah, she was very straight
It's like,
with
this is
me.
gonna be
This is
murder.
what.
Yeah.
Yes, she's like, bring
Did
your
you believe
muscles
it?
ready to work. Yeah, I was excited for it, and yeah, I knew
Was
it'd
it
be
harder
hard
the
work.
first? Like, I never heard your story
Yeah,
about like.
how's your first wedding?
Yeah, were you like, holy crap?
Okay, so my first
No,
wedding.
don't you remember that was the really was that?
No,
that-
my first wedding was a dream. It was my first one. This is how they got me. Okay, so they bring me to this wedding, and it was a dream. It was gorgeous. It was Hannah and
Oh
Matthew.
my gosh!
Oh, yay,
Yeah, they're
we
It was
amazing.
a beautiful
That
day.
was a great day.
Everything
Yeah, it
was
was a great
smooth and gorgeous and beautiful. It was just, I felt so honored to be there, and it felt special. And I was like, this is right. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I love this. I love being a part of this, and loved watching you guys work. And I feel honored to work with you all. But anyway, it was my second wedding with the wind.
That's where I remember Tori the most. I don't remember Hannah and
Yeah,
where the
it
arch
was
fell
with
no.
Oh.
This was the really windy wedding.
Jesselyn.
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 That's the one where the
And
arch
Matthew.
broke.
Yeah,
It
the
was
art.
a-
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
But
and
not
they
during.
Yes.
not
Yeah, it
during-
broke before.
Yes, let me explain.
So
So
let Tori
our
tell her
guests,
own
our
origin
guests
story.
are arriving. Our bride is about to walk down the aisle, and our guests are getting seated. And a big gust of wind came and knocked over our arch, and it snapped on top, where it connects. There
Was
was
anybody under
there
it?
was no repairing it. We couldn't.
Before anyone arrived.
So the end where it meets snapped, and so I was like, okay, great. It's a canvas back. What was
Yes,
that?
it was canvas.
It wasn't. It was.
I call it the
was a-
sailboat because it just the wind would take it. And it
Oh
would.
no.
But anyway, so our option was I was gonna stand on our ladder because we came prepared with a ladder. Stand on our ladder, and I was gonna hold this arch together behind their arch, and
Nobody would ever know.
Nobody would know, and
Are you
they're
kidding?
gonna have a beautiful ceremony.
Oh yeah, so we
So
asked.
I'm afraid of heights, but I'm on this ladder and I'm stretching my arms up as hard as you know,
It's
as
two
high
of
as I
you
can
back
go,
there.
and it's
Yeah,
windy.
Keisha.
Yeah,
and
Keisha was back there.
I'm doing this, and Keisha was holding the bottom part and keeping it steady. And
I was
yes,
looking
and you guys kept checking on me. All of you were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes, I got this. I got this." Complete
It was
willpower.
amazing.
It was-
Willpower,
Seriously.
and I was praying
But
back
it was
there.
a ladder. You guys were. It was a, like Keisha's.
was
You're
a
on top
step-
of a ladder.
Yes.
Holding up
On the
the,
very
like
top
together.
step.
But
with
let me tell
one
you,
hand.
after this ceremony, well, during the ceremony, the bride and groom come, and I hear the special like whisperings to each other. You know, you look beautiful, and you know, just the sweet little whisperings that only the officiant and myself and Keisha would hear behind. And it was so special and so sweet, and I was just like, wow, like I get to be a part of this, and it's so neat.
In secret.
And after that wedding, I mean, they were like, okay, you guys, we're done after the ceremony. You know, they finished in their prayers and their
And this
prayer
was
rocks.
extra
And
long.
yes, it was
Yes.
like
Extra
almost
long.
30-minute
involved
ceremony.
all of their guests.
And it
in
was
the-
beautiful. It was
it
just
was
long,
beautiful.
and we were like,
It was almost
Tori.
a 30-minute ceremony. So anyway, I get down, my arms, I was like, oh, okay, I'm done. You know, they bring the backdrop down, and they had no idea I was back there.
Yeah.
And, or Keisha and I were both back there. And anyway, after that wedding, I was like, I can do any wedding.
She can
Like
do
I can
hard
do this, and I
things.
will,
Yeah.
and I will do whatever it takes for, you know, our bride
Yeah.
and groom to have a beautiful and smooth wedding.
You guys are so lucky to have Tori. Like you
Oh,
have.
Yeah.
I know. We keep
Yeah.
telling
You're
her
so
that.
sweet.
We're
You're
like,
so
you're
sweet.
the best. Can we
Yeah.
have like 4 of you?
Yeah.
Clone.
wish.
Tori clone. Yeah. That
And
was
then
You guys are sweet.
it was on Tori's part, it was a true sacrifice because our normal ceremonies are about 15 minutes. And even at 15 minutes, holding an arch up over your head
Yeah,
on the
would
top
have been-
step of ladder is a real stretch. But to double it, you know, we didn't understand that they were going to have
So long.
so long
Yeah.
a ceremony they had.
And it was so
The
windy.
prayer rocks. Remember
Yeah.
the prayer
Yeah.
rocks?
Yeah.
We
and
had prayer
everyone-
rocks. Every single guest would bring a rock forward. So we were just like kept checking around the.
I actually
Make sure she
squatted
was
I was
down
fine,
because
though.
I was so sick to my
Yeah.
stomach. Because of course, it's not that I didn't fear for you falling off the ladder, which I was a little bit
Yeah.
nervous, but my
Scary.
fear was her falling off the ladder onto the couple.
Yes.
Yes, the bride.
And
Yes.
that because that wind
Oh,
was
I-
pushing
believe
them
me, I
from
had
It was
that
really
behind.
windy.
Yeah.
And so I don't normally get like that, but I did. I squatted down because I was like, I kept envisioning, and I kept having to look away because I just knew that when it would gust and she was like straining to hold
Yes.
it, and I thought falling.
And Keisha's holding your
falling.
legs, and I'm just like,
it was really scary.
Yeah.
It was scary
It was
to think
scary.
that it could have just fell on
It
her
was a
head.
beautiful
Yeah.
wedding. It was a beautiful day.
Absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful.
and it
was
went so
gorgeous.
well.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
it was great. And afterwards when we told them, we're like, did you know that people were they were like, what? No.
They had no idea.
They really didn't. So
Did you have to go back up there for the photos afterwards?
No.
No.
Okay.
We took that down.
No,
we were like,
they
this
did
is
that,
done.
yeah.
Because it was like a sail. It was just
Yes,
Yeah.
and it does.
because it was like what 10 feet tall.
yeah,
It was
It
huge.
was really
It was
tall.
huge.
So it's
So.
yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting like nervous just listening to it. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was panicky.
It worked
for
out. Luckily, we had
everybody.
that ladder. We
Yeah.
came prepared with the
Yes.
ladder. We always come prepared with things to,
Yeah.
you know.
We tried duct taping
Fixing.
that. Remember the corner
Yes.
to that thing. We tried sticky dotting because
Yeah.
you
Tried
know
all
us and
things.
sticky
Yeah.
dotting.
Yeah,
Fishing
even-
wire. We tried so many things to get
But we had
that.
to do like the bride
because they
we
had
were
just gotten
coming.
off the bus and then it
It was
just
like-
We're like,
Yeah.
okay,
So-
this
The
is our
worst
option.
time. Yeah, and it was like,
Yeah.
gotta make it work.
I think that's why brides come to us though, is because there's no idea that anything's going on, and that's what a true good wedding planner does. Is we are able to roll with any punch. We can
You got
think on our feet.
backups
and,
for backups.
yeah, we've got doubles of this and triples of that, and we've got staff that's willing to sacrifice. And yeah,
Would it be can you talk about the magic black box? Because honestly, when I first started working for you guys, I was baffled by the
Oh.
sheer amazing
Oh.
items that
Our
are
tote.
contained
Our
in
rolling
the
tote?
in
Oh.
the magical
Yeah.
black box. I don't
It's
know if you guys
amazing.
want to talk
Well,
about that or no, but
when we first started, we had a bucket.
a bucket
Yeah, we
and
had
the lid didn't fit. And I was like, I refuse to work for a company with a lid that doesn't fit on a bucket. But we drug that bucket around.
it was just
awful.
a Home Depot bucket, one of those kinds. It
Yeah,
was white.
and Lory
though.
was like, the lid's gonna work. Look, and she
Yeah.
kept trying to make it work.
But
We're
we
like,
kept
it doesn't
adding
work,
more stuff in
Lory.
the bucket. The bucket was like,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
so anyway, we
Yeah.
graduated.
So then I was
out of
like,
the
no.
bucket.
we
I
did
didn't see the
something
bucket.
else.
Yeah, we got a
you-
rolling tote.
Yeah,
It's got
and
wheels
it's supposed
and
to be for like heavy equipment for
Like construction.
construction.
Yeah.
So like your drills and stuff. So it's really heavy duty. It comes on wheels, Yeah, we put a lot.
It's packed
of
with
things
all
in there.
the
Everything
things.
that you could possibly need.
It's like
Yeah.
the ultimate wedding day emergency kit. I know
Yeah.
you guys have probably seen like those little listicles that say, the top 10 things you have to have like in your emergency wedding bag. This is like heavy duty. This is-
Everything.
We have a construction kit in there too,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
screwdrivers and
Yeah, we
hammers
do.
and
Extra nails,
extra everything.
different size of nails.
Yeah.
A needle and thread.
Needle,
a,
thread.
a bottle of cider.
Yeah.
I mean, like extra
Band-Aids,
things,
emergency kit.
napkins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're ready. We're ready
And
for
we have
you.
our aprons now. We love
Yeah.
our aprons for
Aprons.
assisting.
And it does get really sandy, so we have to clean it out every once in a while.
Once
and
in a while, yeah, because it gets heavier and heavier. It takes 2 people to lift.
yeah,
It's not a little
It's got
thing.
extra
Not
sparkling
little.
ciders in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So the magic box.
Yeah,
we
it's,
should call it that.
It is.
I always think of it
You
as the magic
renamed
box.
it for us.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I like the magic box.
Who takes
that's
care of the
its
magic box?
What do you mean?
We all take
we
care
all
of it. You all
do.
put
stuff-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every time we come back from a wedding, we restock it so that it's ready to go because we
More
use
trash bags and
stuff
Yeah.
out of it
More paper towels.
constantly.
Yeah.
So we restock it every.
And we're in a
single
hurry,
wedding.
so it's usually thrown in back in. It's
When we get back to the
ripping
shop,
stuff
I
out
mean.
and-
Oh yeah, when we're up there, we just someone sit on it, and then we close it, and then we come back, and it it springs open, and we
That's
have to
true.
fold everything back
my God.
together. Yeah.
So
Okay,
That's
so
amazing.
we are coming down to like the last few minutes of this
Wow.
podcast already. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, that
It
did go
wasn't so
fast.
bad. And I thought a good way to kind of just sort of wrap it up is, what can a bride expect if she sees this and she loves everybody here and she wants to maybe get started with Cactus and Lace? What would that beginning mean for her?
We like it when they go to our website first and use the contact form.
The website is?
cactusandlaceweddings.com.
Yes. I'll put a link
weddings
down
with
below.
S.
Yes.
Cactus and Lace Weddings.
Multiple weddings.
Yes.
It's just a really easy form that just asks very simple questions like your name and your
Wedding date and
Yep.
stuff like that.
mhm.
Then we can assign you to a planner once you reply back and set you up with somebody right away, because we like each bride to know someone right away, and so that they have their planner right from the beginning. So we look at the calendar, and based on your date and who's available, assign you to somebody right away. So they're always talking to the same person.
And it
Yeah.
would be one of us, Rachel, Lory, or I, that is randomly assigned by what's available and what weddings we have around that date.
So if they fill out that contact form and we haven't talked to them within 24 to 36 hours, please contact us again, because we're right on that. Those come
Yeah.
through really
Or
quickly.
check your junk
Check
mail,
your junk
spam
mail.
emails.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It does occasionally.
It's like, where's that email? Oh, there it is. in the
Yeah.
spam.
It does. In the spam sometimes. But
And then how do they start talking to you about that? I know I made a little video about Pinterest, but maybe you can kind of give them a quick little rundown about that. I'll link to the Pinterest video down below.
So most of our brides come from all over the world. We've got every continent has been represented pretty much. And because of that, coming to Vegas, it can be intimidating for them because they don't know how to start, and they're just really worried about putting a wedding together and bringing all their friends out to do it. So because they can't come and meet with us in person, and we are not set up to meet with people in person. We are set up to meet with them over the internet, usually by Skype, FaceTime, phone calls, emails, and that's generally how we work. But once we have booked a couple and want to get started planning, we will actually set up a Pinterest board specifically for that wedding, and we invite the bride to pin, and we invite our floral shop to that board so that they can see the cohesiveness. And anyway, and it's pretty seamless. It works really
Talking through
well.
pictures really works, because
Yeah.
somebody
when you
says
say it's pink,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we want to make sure it's
The-
like a dusty pink and not a bubblegum pink
Right.
like they were thinking.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so much
get a
just
visual.
Visuals.
Yeah.
We're a
Visuals are
visual company. We
Yeah.
we operate mainly because we love photography and we love the way things look, and so visually is the best way to speak to us and
Yeah.
for our
Yeah,
brides.
it's really
too, so,
seamless.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, so before I close off, what are you guys looking forward to most this year? Tori, we'll start with you on this end.
Oh, on the spot.
Anything, something personal, something with Cactus and Lace. What 2020? What does that mean for you? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping to do this year?
With Cactus and Lace,
Or personally, whichever.
Yeah, just meeting our bride and groom. I'm excited for what's to come and what you guys, collaborate together with your planners. And yeah, I'm excited. Hope to meet you.
It is fun to meet them in person because, usually we don't meet them beforehand. So it is really nice when you meet them on the wedding day. You're like so excited. You're like, oh, I get to meet them. Yay. But I'm really looking forward to, every year I feel like, okay, I've got this a little bit better, it's more seamless, it's more under control, and I feel like 2020 is my year. Like, I really got it. Like, it's really gonna roll smooth this time, guys.
Yes.
So that's what I'm excited about.
There's just something so optimistic about 2020, and I don't know what it is.
It feels good.
Yeah, it is. There's a different
even
feeling
number.
about it.
It feels better than
Two even
2019 for
numbers.
some reason. Well, I'm hoping that this channel takes off. I want you guys to let me know what you thought of this first video. Be gentle. No, you know what? No, don't be gentle. Just let me know what you think, honestly, in those comments down below. But I hope very much that this all ends up working out really well, and that maybe you learned something from this. So,
Yeah. 2020 for me, it's a fresh new decade, and we're so excited to be a part of it. We love this company. It's more than a company for us. I think Amanda said it felt like an actual person. Cactus and Lace is an actual person, and so I think for me, looking forward to, again, it's working with those brides. We love our brides and our couples. Grooms too. We get to know them so well, and after wedding's over, we love to keep following them. We hear about the babies that are being born. We hear about the new jobs and how they're moving to Australia and going to France, and our company's doing this. And so we keep that personal connection with them because they've become part of our family. We have a Cactus and Lace family, and we feel like we're a family. And so that's kind of what I look forward to in 2020, is getting to know more of those family connections that we've always had with Cactus. So I'm excited to see the new people coming into our lives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm most excited about wedding planning and photographing weddings, because that's become like a big part of my life. Before that, it was mainly my family, and my family is still like a huge part of my life. So I think what I look most forward to in 2020 is seeing my family grow. Not my personal family, but like my brother's family. Maybe my sister will end up getting married. You never know. Maybe my other sister-in-law will have another baby. I'm not really sure, but those things really, really complete me. So to see my family grow, be prosperous, just, I don't know.
well, if Amanda says that, I have to tell you about my grandbaby.
I
got a new grandbaby,
You wanna talk
and
about
I
a
look
little?
forward to her. She's perfect and wonderful, and I want to see her walk. So
Yeah.
maybe I don't, but because she's
Watch
gonna
out.
take off. But yeah, so fun times.
yes, I love your grandbaby. I'm her sometimes babysitter, so I get to have a special connection with her.
Rescue. She comes for a rescue.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching YouTube. I'm coming. Give me that child.
So, yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out
Thank
today to
you.
come and sit
you.
around and talk with me about weddings. I hope you had a good time. It
Yes.
wasn't
Yes,
too
it was.
It
nerve-wracking.
wasn't near as painful as we thought it was.
No, she did a great job.
Yeah.
So we appreciate Alex and her husband, who is doing the
Thank
behind
you.
the
Oh,
scenes.
Mike.
Yay.
We love
Good
you,
job.
Mike.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful, and you made it very unpainful. So
Yes,
we
this was great.
Made
Good
it
job.
very easy. So
Well, thank you.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, I have to remember the right sign off. I keep saying it's time for me to take it on the heel and toe. That's not the right video. Okay, this one is. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Alex, Amanda, Lory,
Rachel.
Tori, and keep loving each other. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Thank you.
Just whack that table.
Hit their hand.
Sorry.
That was me, sorry.
I was like, wait, everybody's waving.
Merry Christmas.